So welcome everybody to the Complete Wedding Podcast. My name is Damon with Complete Weddings and Events. And today I have the pleasure of interviewing Maria Rodriguez. Maria Rodriguez, she is a makeup artist. I actually found her on Instagram because she does amazing work. One of the things that really caught my attention was your smoky eyes. I see that you do that very, very well. So that kind of caught my eye. And so when I was thinking about doing another interview, I wanted to find a makeup artist, and you were my first choice. So I appreciate you accepting the offer. So without further ado, I want to welcome Maria to the podcast. Maria, welcome.
Hello, everyone. I'm Maria Rodriguez, and like he explained, I'm a makeup artist, and I'm super excited to be here with you guys to answer questions, get to know, a little bit more of what the process is of what it takes to be a makeup artist, or any questions that you guys may have that are those who are interested in, or just how you come to become a makeup artist. So I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much.
Well, I'm excited to have you here. Tell us, I guess, a little bit about what you do and how you got started.
Okay, so I'm a general makeup artist. So there are specialized makeup artists that are for like weddings, for celebrities, for certain type of photo shoots, things like that. And I just do general overall because I've had a little experience in all of the areas. So I started off. It's really funny because growing up, I never liked makeup. I hated it so much. My mom used to run after me to try to even just put a little bit of, lip gloss or powder. And I was like, no, I would just like run away from her all the time. I was just that natural beauty. I don't want anything on my face. I don't want to feel like I have to do anything more. And, when you start to come to an age as a young woman, it's like you start to want to dress up more and want to, do more. So I had to go to a wedding, and I wanted to look nice. And
how old were you?
Makeup. I was about 18, 19. And I wanted to look nice, but I didn't know how to put on any makeup. I legit didn't know what to put on my face, how it would work. I just didn't know. So luckily, my sister-in-law, she was in cosmetology school. So, they teach a little bit of everything, but mainly hair, but they teach a little bit of everything. So she kind of knew how to do makeup. She had already taken that course. So I was like, please help me. Can you please? So she did my hair, because she also did hair. And she was like, okay, I'll do your makeup. And she did the most beautiful shadow on my face. And I was like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. Like, I really loved how she did my makeup. It made me feel so good. And that feeling alone, like, the point of makeup, it's not necessarily to change you. It's to enhance what you already have. So, when you're able to enhance it in a way where you see yourself in a different way, or it makes you, give an extra boost of confidence. I think for women in general, that's very beautiful, and that's something that's needed, because not all of us have the highest confidence every time we walk outside of the door. But if you can feel a little better about yourself, why not? So I felt so amazing, and I was like, you know what, this is really gorgeous. So I asked her, I was like, what did you do? She's like, well, she showed me the small palette that had various colors on there. And she's like, I bought this palette. She's like, it cost me like $1 something. And I was like, oh, wow, it's affordable. And she's like, I just put this color here, that color there, and then I just blended it. That's all she told me. And I was like, okay, I mean, how hard can this be? Why not? So I went to the nearest beauty supply store. I grabbed the palette. I grabbed a brush. I didn't know what I was doing at all. I was like, I'm just going to go for it. And I grabbed whatever brush. I grabbed that palette. I sat in my car for 2 hours trying to figure out how she created that look. And I finally got something close to it. And I felt so happy. I was like, oh my God, it was such an awesome experience for me, because, it was literally, I was creating art, and I didn't know anything what I was doing. So I kind of fell in love with it, and I started to self-educate myself. And most makeup artists, what most people don't know is that there isn't a licensed course for a makeup artist. You can't do it like a hairstylist, because there's not enough hours in that licensing or in that type of course that will give you a license. So most makeup artists are not licensed. Now they are part of unions. They do have unions like in California or in New York, because they have filming and things like that. That is not in Florida. It doesn't apply. But you can get a certification, but it's not a license. Now, the closest thing to a license that we can possibly get is becoming a skin estheticianist. And that's when you understand the skin, which is key in makeup. It's really key. What most people don't understand, there's a lot of technical pieces to makeup. It's not just, putting on stuff, contour and highlights. Is not that all the time. There's a lot of technicality to it, because you have to understand theory, and there is a theory. Just like everything, there's a theory to makeup, and we base everything off of color theory. So I was just so interested, so I started to do a lot of research. I started to look into, look at different styles. I would look at magazines. I would look to find out who's the makeup artist. I would look up their work, be more inquisitive of that. I would, try to literally like break down the looks that they have, so that I can understand how the process is. Because I couldn't afford to even go to one of those schools either, because sometimes they're very expensive. Regardless of the fact that it's just a certification, they can be very expensive. So I was like, well, you know what? School of the Hard Rocks, we're literally going to be doing this on your own. You're going to figure it out. And I'm the type of person that if I want something, I go for it. And I was just teaching myself. I would look up, this was at the time that YouTube was blowing up with all of the, the YouTuber makeup artists on there. So I would watch their stuff and I would really look at it. And I would, depending on who it was, I would look for more seasoned makeup artists that had a page, some that had worked with celebrities or had worked on photo shoots, because I really loved the production aspect of makeup. Just how, what I loved about legit makeup artists or celebrity makeup artists that have been doing this for years, the ones that have started with the Naomi Campbells of the world, that started with Iman, that have started with the Cindy Crawfords of the world, like what they understood of what makeup was and what it is that, like I said earlier, it enhances your beauty. It's not supposed to change you. A woman is not supposed to look in the mirror, or a person's not supposed to look in the mirror and think like, oh my God, who is this person? They're just supposed to see themselves in a more enhanced way. And, for an everyday woman, that's very important as well, because most women don't wear pounds of makeup every day. That's not true. I don't even wear as much makeup as you would think as a makeup artist. I go sometimes weeks without wearing makeup, and because we have we have this lifestyle that we're always on the go. So we don't have time to do, a 2-hour routine every day. Like nobody's going to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning or 6 o'clock in the morning to do something like that. So it's, understanding that you can enhance in certain ways, but doing it correctly. It's really how I wanted to do my makeup. And so I just, pretty much kind of like hit the books kind of in a sense, and really started to learn about how to do it properly, what it takes to be a makeup artist, what are the requirements of what it makes you a makeup artist, and that's another thing. It's like there are requirements that kind of set you apart. There's a difference from somebody who knows how to do makeup good and a makeup artist, because when you become a makeup artist, you're dealing with different type of skin type, you're dealing with different face shapes, you're dealing with skin issues, you're dealing with all of these things that a person comes with, and every person is different, and you don't know them, and you don't know their skin, you don't know if they're allergic to things. You don't know all of these things. So those are things that come into play when you are a makeup artist. Someone who likes a certain type of face, or likes a certain type of style, or if they're not used to, heavy makeup. That can be a shocker to them. I mean, you can make the most beautiful face on a person, but if that person does not feel comfortable when they see themselves in the mirror, like your client is not happy. You're literally taking their money, and you don't want that. So
you're answering a lot of the questions that I'm going to be asking you.
Funny. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just going.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Eventually, with that, after I started to learn more, I hooked up with my brother. He had a friend who she did makeup, and I was like, I would love to be an assistant. So I was really looking to be an assistant somewhere, and I started with her. They so happened to be working with an artist, a local artist from South Florida. His name is Absolute. And we started working on his photo shoots and on his video shoots. And from there, that's kind of where my makeup career kind of started. It was like 2012. I'll never forget it. It was the most fun year I've ever had doing, like, we were nights after nights of photo shoots, video shoots. And that's why I say I love the production more, because it was an adrenaline, just being hours without sleep in a video shoot or in a photo shoot, and we had tons of fun.
I think that might be where I first saw you, because I actually work with Absolute. So I don't know if that's where the connection came about. So big shout out to Absolute.
Yes,
songs Beautiful, Hope Dealer, The Truth, all those great songs. So if you're not familiar with Absolute, definitely check him out. He's a local Florida artist right here in South Florida, actually.
Yeah.
So I just want to bring it back a little bit. You mentioned you're a general makeup artist, right, which means you'll do the photo shoots, you'll do the videos, you'll do weddings and all of that. Right. Is it just makeup, or do you do threading or anything like that, or is it just specifically makeup?
Well, I recently did those expertises, you do have to take classes and courses, and get certified for them, because they require a little bit more in-depth learning. So there's some I'm interested in and some that I'm not. Like I'll say I'm a purist when it comes to makeup, if that makes sense. Like I said, I love the enhancement, but not where it's changing you. And certain practices that are now more popular, or certain trends, I'm not for it. So I don't even recommend it. Like, I wouldn't even do it on myself. And if there's something I wouldn't do on myself, I wouldn't, kind of recommend it. So some of those things I don't do because I don't necessarily want to, but one of them I've been looking into, but I was recently certified for eyelash extension.
Oh, nice.
So I'm okay with those, but sometimes when it's too much, I'm like.
So you're not a threader. You're not gonna, with the. No. Can they even do that now with COVID because of the you have to use like your mouth and whatever to thread? Like, can you even do that now?
Yeah, I don't care to be a threader, because the grooming part of makeup is kind of for me. It's a lot of responsibility. Because you have to, especially when it comes to your eyebrows frame your face. So if you take out just the wrong piece of hair, that can change a whole person's look. And us girls, when it comes to our eyebrows, we don't play that. So we particularly go to a special person every time we get our eyebrows done, because that person knows us and knows how we want it. So yeah, that's a lot of responsibility for me. So I'm good with the threading or even the grooming aspect of that. But things like eyelash extensions, I'll do. One, because it is a more popular trend now. So you wanna keep up with the times. But there's certain things that I probably won't do, just because I'm a purist when it comes to makeup.
Okay, gotcha. So you had mentioned when you were learning, you were doing a lot of research. And throughout your research, or just in general now, who is like your style icon? Who is the person that you, I guess, look up to the most?
There's actually quite a few, to be honest. But top right now. Ooh, that's hard. That's a good question. Okay, so I mean, our main like way to know, you know, how good a person is or not is of course through seeing celebrity makeup artists and things like that. I have to say, probably my favorite is Sir John. He's Beyonce's makeup artist actually. And he does have a style from other makeup artists that are older than him, you know, from before that, you know, are icons as well. But I don't know, it's just something about how he does that in hands, and the way that he, you know, he also is he's an artist, like an actual artist, like painting and things like that. And most would, you know, when the research is done and the more you learn, you know, I'm passionate about this. So that's why I'm kind of like a nerd in a sense. And I do research and I read into things like, because I love this and I'm passionate about it. So, you know, with his background, or you'll see that most famed or more iconic makeup artists, they do have that background of being, they were painters. They were literally went to art school, like they were actual artists, and they transitioned into makeup artist or makeup because it's another form of artistry. You know, you have oil paint, and then you have this, at this point would be, you know, 3D art,
like a living canvas. Yeah.
exactly. So, and you know, it's there, it's always, there's always gonna, you're always gonna find challenges. I mean, it's great when you have a beautiful girl who has no, you know, blemishes on her face, or, you know, has this, you know, beautiful features. It's great, it makes it easy. But everyday people aren't like, you know, supermodels.
Or
They're just
Beyonce.
not, right. We're Beyonce. So
Only one beat.
you
Right.
have to find your challenges. And when you, and that's why I say enhancing is what is the best way to approach makeup, because you know, you, everybody has different features, everybody has different everything. So I really love how he's always done that through his makeup, not only on Beyonce but even on other celebrities and photo shoots that he's done. He's just, he understands, you know. And it's funny because you would think, how can a man, you know, do makeup so beautifully and can do it so well, and he's a man. But when you understand the face, when you understand what makes a woman or something beautiful, I mean, it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, you can really make something up from it.
Yeah, for sure. I was going to say, I used to be a huge fan of America's Next Top Model, and Miss J used to kill it, like crush it. So it doesn't matter if you know what you're doing, you know what you're doing, right?
Exactly. One way or another, you know what you're doing, and you, if you're great at it, you're great at it. So
Sure, for sure.
yeah.
So one of the things that I see with our company, because we do, you know, photography and the DJ and everything, and when I tell people what I do, then they'll ask for different tips, and so I'll give them like little tidbits of advice. So when somebody asks you as a makeup artist, if you can give them a tip, what tip do you generally give people?
Generally, I would say, okay, so when it comes to, just if you're just starting out or whatever, you want something quick, everyday something, you know, always have just staple pieces or staple products, because the fun thing about makeup is that you can use anything to be anything. So if you want, a lipstick can be a blush, and it can also be some shadow, and it's just a lipstick. You know, a concealer can be, you know, you can make lipstick out of a concealer, and it's also concealer. And if you water it down a little bit, it can be foundation. So you want to have certain staple pieces with you that you can take with you at all times, that can be dual anything. That makes it easier to travel, it makes it easier for everyday routine. And it makes you not want to hate makeup because you think you have to buy 500 million products. You know, if you got your good 5 essential pieces, you know, you can create your everyday look in a little bit more, and then some, and feel like, okay, I'm doing a little something with makeup. I don't have to do too much to have to do something. And I say that because, I mean, I'm the makeup guru in my family, but my sisters and they're not. They're just like, no, like you do too much, Maria, all the time. And I'm like, but I love it. So I love doing too much, you know. But they're like an everyday woman. It's just like, I want something that I can do in 5, not have too much product, not have to have too much laying around, something that I can do in 5 to 10, 20 minutes, the max. So yeah, when you have your like 5 essential, like foundation, you want to have a foundation, you want to have a concealer, mascara, lipstick, and maybe a blush, because blush can be a shadow, and it can also blush. And depending on, and maybe like 1 or 2 eyeshadows, all you really need. You can turn any one of those into a daytime look and a nighttime look, and that's the easiest thing that you can do with makeup.
Okay. And so if you had a superpower to do your job, what would that be?
A superpower. Oh, speed. Hands down.
Flash. Miss
Yes,
Flash.
I would be the Flash. Yes, I would. Because that's another thing, like I was saying, going back to an everyday woman, because not all of us are doing celebrity makeup. And even then, and even they don't have time. We don't have time. Living in the US, I'll say, or just in general life, you don't have time. Time is of the essence. And sometimes you have the 2 hours to spare, but most of the time you don't. And when you want to do a perfect look, where you want to have everything right, you want to do it in a timely manner, but so a person's not going to sit there for 2 hours for you to do their makeup. They're just not. No, it's hard to do. They get frustrated, you get frustrated, you're tired. So time. Yes. If I could do like, yes, quickly. Oh my God. Not only that, like I'd be able to do more jobs, like be able to do so much more, in high pressure moments. So yeah, that would be my superpower for sure.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a good superpower to have. I'm actually kind of addicted to that show on Netflix right now.
Oh yeah, me too. I love that show. I'm all
really okay. I'm on season 2. I'm on
really?
season 2.
I'm all
Yeah.
I can't wait for the new season. I just watched.
How many seasons are there?
I think it's 6 or 7 right now.
Dang. Okay, so I'm way behind then.
Yeah. It's a really good show. I love it though.
Yeah. I was watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. before that. So you were talking about being a nerd. I'm a comic book nerd. So I'm more Marvel. So that's why I was watching S.H.I.E.L.D. first. But I was like, you know what? Let me check out this Flash thing, see what's up.
Flash is awesome. It really is awesome. And they do a lot of crossovers with that one too. So
yeah, I noticed that a lot.
To the other ones. Yeah.
I noticed that a lot. Yeah. That seemed like that was kind of on the forefront when they were creating that show. Like, hey, we're going to make sure that you know about the Green Arrow and you know about the Defenders and all that other stuff. So yeah.
Right.
All right. So this is the Complete Wedding podcast. So now I'm going to ask a lot specifically for weddings because I want to make sure I give value to the watchers here that want to know about weddings. So think back to your first wedding or first couple weddings. What are some things that you know now that you wish you knew then?
Well, that's a good question, actually. That's a really, really good question. Well, okay. I wish I knew then how much pressure it is for the bride, to have everything perfect. So, sometimes you kind of go in certain scenarios, like let's say, production, or you can do a film, or you can even do a music video, and it's kind of like you improvise, or you're kind of like in the moment, so you can create something. But when it comes to brides, they have an image of how they want to look, how they just have this, they have this idea, they have this dream, and they want it to come into fruition. So you're part of that. You have to have she has to have the perfect look, the perfect, her eyes have to be the perfect way. Her skin has to look a certain way. She wants to look a certain way in her pictures that are going to last forever. It's a special day. some of them have been dreaming for it for a very long time, and some of them are very prepared and very, you know, detailed. And it's beautiful because, you know, you're able to control that and kind of like make your day perfect. So you know, what I wish I was more prepared with starting out was, you know, understanding that they, you know, this is their perfect day and you're part of that, and they're under a lot of pressure. So do your part in making them feel the most, you know, calm and feel like you have their back and that you have the best interest and as them as a client, and that you're listening to them and making them feel more calm.
Gotcha. So I guess you were more, when you first started, approaching it just like it's another job. I'm just on a video shoot, so I'm just going to go ahead and do my job and shut up and work, and not like, girl, you look good, this is going to be beautiful, like more
or even just calm her down. Sometimes, you know, there's scenarios where, you know, you have or I've even seen it where the bridesmaid and everybody around is making the bride, you know, upset or going through it, and you're just kind of like, dude, it's her day.
Sure.
Her day. And you know, it's you know, it's what like, let her feel calm, you know. I think another thing that I would also, another thing is understanding that what she wants is what she wants. You know, sometimes as a person who knows more, or an expert, or someone who's well in there, you know, you know what it should be, but when it's, but the thing is like, we're not medical professionals. It doesn't need to be like, you know, it's not that. She has an image.
Right.
Yeah, it's what she wants, and give her what she wants. And that's how she'll feel the most beautiful on her day and feel like something is going right. Because I feel like sometimes things always go a little funny, always something. But I mean, I'm glad it always works out in the end. But yeah, those things are definitely very, very, very important.
That's funny. I was actually that was going to be one of my questions. I actually pulled it off because I just for the interest of time. But now that you brought it up, one of the people that used to work with us, big shout out to Sue Ona. And she was saying that when she was a stylist, that she would work with people, and she was like, listen, if they want to wear a green suit, give them a green suit, even though you know that the green suit is probably not the best option. If that's what they want, that's what you're going to give them, and give them the best option for that, instead of trying to talk them out of a green suit, say, no, you need to build, you know, whatever wardrobe. So it's the same thing.
Right. Yeah, no, it's very important to give them their dream, because it's what they want. One, it's what they're also paying you for. So you have to be respectful of that. It's a client, and you treat every client with respect. You give them what they want. You, of course, give your most professional opinion and advice, but it's up to them to take it or not. And, you know, you do what you want to do well. I mean, I'm also, like I said, I'm a purist. So I do believe that if there's something you don't feel comfortable doing, because you know it's going to look crazy and it's going to be your work, decline the work. You know, don't put yourself in a position where you can compromise yourself professionally as well. But ultimately, they're the client. You have to give them what they want.
Yep, I definitely understand what you mean there. So thinking about the different clients that you work with, are there different techniques that you use for fairer skin versus darker skin? And so what's the difference?
Yeah. So, I mean, overall, every skin is different. And the most important thing about, you know, like I said, going back to theory, you know, we all have different undertones. We have different, you know, some of us have blemishes. Some of us have hyperpigmentation, which is like dark circles or dark spots. And then some of us has great skin. Some have oily skin. So those things come into play on top of your complexion. So with someone who's fairy, you have to kind of understand the undertones as well. Because certain makeups are either have yellow or have olive tones in it, or are more neutral. So those things really make a difference when you're putting it on the skin, because it can either make the person look like they're a floating head because it's too light, or it can just completely turn them, you know, like it's like orange, or they're just completely like a different color. And you have to be very careful with that, because every fairer skinned person is not the same tone, and every darker person is not the same tone either. So, you know, one, I have to look into the skin type that they have first, and then two, I need to look at their tones to see which colors work better. If they're more warm, if they're more neutral, if they're more cool tone, I will, of course, you know, depending on the shade, see what works. And most importantly, shade match. I have to shade match, and I want you. A lot of people that think they're makeup artists, or even a lot of everyday women that go to, you know, buy foundation, most of the time they don't know what their shade is, you know. So someone who knows, you know, they're going to point you in the right direction. And sometimes, it's sad to say, but those counter people don't know what they're doing. So, you know, they can give you the wrong color, and you will look like a floating head, because it has happened even to me. And it's sad, because I was a makeup artist well in a couple years already by then, and I still got bamboozled, you know. So it's very important to shade match, to make sure that the foundation that's going on your face matches your body, not your face, but your body. That's another mistake that a lot of people do when it comes to shade matching. You have to match your face, not your body, not your face, because you know, our faces tend to be a little bit lighter, or have lighter places than our body. So you don't want to look like a floating head. You know, your neck has to match all one. And then, you know, there's other parts to bring back your complexion how it's supposed to be. But number one thing, shade matching.
Okay, got it. So when I think about, at least for me in the wedding industry, you know, you pick up a rock and throw it, I'll bounce off of 50 different photographers. And so, you know, brides have a lot of choices, and I'm sure it's similar with makeup artists. And I go online and I see different magazines or different publications, they'll say, or just different blogs, and they'll say, these are the questions that you should ask your photographer. And it's a question like, what camera do you use? And for me, that's question it doesn't make any sense, because if you are a professional, you can use any camera. So so what I did with one of my blogs, I came up with the real question that you should ask the professional. So for you, what is a real question, something that really matters, that somebody should ask their makeup artist before they hire them?
Real questions.
Questions that like really matter, not like, you know, how many brushes do you bring, or, you know, something like that, right? Or are you licensed? Because I mean, you already said it, that not every makeup artist is licensed. So that's not a real question, something that really can tell you if they can do their job or not. Definitely
ask for their portfolio. If they are a makeup artist, they're going to have a portfolio. Okay. They're not just going to show you some Instagram pictures. So
what if they do, what if their portfolio is their Instagram and it's like, you know, just insane? Is that good enough or no?
I mean, yeah, I mean, if you can look at their quality of work, that's definitely very, very, very important, their quality of work. But most, I'll say, seasoned, experienced makeup artists, they're going to have a portfolio, because sometimes when you do production, you can't just show your Instagram pictures. When you have certain serious jobs, you can't show Instagram pictures. You can't go to a modeling agency and show them your Instagram. You have to show them a portfolio. You can't go to try to do a music video, or even try to do a photo shoot without a portfolio. The photographer is going to have, if the photographer has a portfolio, the makeup artist will have a portfolio, because that's what you show. That is the professional part of it. It's not just some Instagram pictures. Yes, Instagram can be a way to show your work, but professionally, you're going to have a portfolio. So you can have an online portfolio. Like I have an online portfolio. Mine is not printed. So you can have that, or you can have a printed portfolio. Some makeup artists work at wedding shops, so they also have a printed portfolio, or they go from job to job, so they'll have a printed portfolio. So you'll definitely know the experience that they have if they have a portfolio, for sure. And then of course you want to, make sure, I'll say for brides, make sure that the trial is included in the price. One, because sometimes they'll charge you different, separate for it, or some makeup artists might not even have a trial. So you want to make sure that they include that, or that is part of their package. Only because as a bride, you want to have a trial. You don't want to just go off of pictures. Don't do that, because a person who works on a model every day can't necessarily work on an everyday woman. It's not the same. A model has flawless skin. She's prepped and primed for perfection. So it's just kind of like we're not like that, so you have to make sure that she knows what she's doing for you, that she's going to understand your skin, and someone who can also give maybe a consultation form. Not just someone who thinks that they know what they're doing. You want to make sure that that person is taking in mind your skin type, that they're taking in mind if you have any allergies, that that they're taking in mind that you're going to be safe. Because what sets apart also a makeup artist from just an everyday person who can do well makeup is sanitation. Like, it's just how clean you are. That is the main thing. You are using the same brushes on different people. You are using products on different people. We see in today's society what that can be. Look at what is happening with coronavirus. You don't want to make someone sick, or make someone's skin get infected because you don't know how to clean your brushes, or because you don't know how to clean your makeup. So you definitely want to take that into, consideration when you're talking to the makeup artist.
That's a good point. I never even thought about that. The fact, you think about it, like I go to the barber, obviously. Well, not obviously, I need a haircut, but I go to the barber, and obviously you see the sanitation juice, or whatever you call it, that they put all the combs and everything in. But I never thought about that for a makeup artist. That makes perfect sense.
Right.
So when people hire you, what are some things that you wish they would consider when it comes to makeup, doing them or getting makeup done?
Just trusting the advice, in a sense, like trusting the expert. I think that sometimes they're used to certain things that they do that makes them feel good, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it looks good. So trusting the advice that is given, and not second guessing it. Because one thing, I'll say one example. I'm sorry, because I talk a lot.
You're good.
As you can see.
You're good.
One example is, if you're going to be, for like brides, you're going to be photographed. The way that makeup translates on photograph is pictures is completely different of how it translates in real life. So sometimes we do have to go a little bit more than what you would feel comfortable with, only because you want it to translate beautifully on camera. It's a different lens. You're in a different situation. You have different lighting. Lighting makes a hell of a difference. Natural lighting versus studio lights is very different. It can change and manipulate the makeup so badly or well that you have to know what you're doing when it comes to that. So trust the advice that it may seem like it's a lot, but in the end it'll translate beautifully. You're gonna feel great.
Okay. And then also just piggybacking on that, with the makeup, even though it might seem like it's a lot, it's still not heavy. It doesn't feel like you've been painted on, right?
Exactly. I mean, if you have a good makeup artist that understands skin and understands natural beauty, so specialized bridal makeup artists, they understand these things. So they know what type of makeup feels light, which one feels a little heavier. but they know it's going to translate beautifully and still be very natural. You have to know that there's layers. You have to create layers so that you don't, one, damage the skin too. You don't want to put makeup on raw skin like that. Like you'll wake up with pimples, you'll wake up with all of those things, and you don't want that either, you know? So having someone who understands that, like, you know, the layers that you have to put on, but as well as that they'll blend it so beautifully or use the right amount to make it look so natural.
Got it. So what I want to do now is I want to dispel a myth. There's a myth that happens a lot of times when we're in the bridal suite with the photography, and people will say, you know, well, the bride's late. Well, why is the bride late? Because makeup is taking forever. And so the myth I want to dispel is it's typically, I'm not going to say all the time because there are unprepared makeup artists, but typically the problem is that the client didn't have enough makeup artists for the amount of people that they are going to be doing makeup for. So that's the myth I want to dispel. So my question is, how much time or what amount of time should the client plan for doing makeup?
Okay, so for me, I tend to do, the more that you do bridal makeup, you understand that it's a whole different ballgame. It's a whole different ballgame. There's so much to it, and it's a lot of preparedness. You have to have these conversations early on. So with any bride that I do, I have tons of conversations with them prior to that date. I meet with them a month prior to that date to do the trial. And if I have to sit in that trial for 2 hours, we will do that to figure out the perfect look, to figure out the perfect, to have the, you know, the list of what you're using, and to discuss the looks of the bridal party and how many people are going to be in it. Because that is very important to understand if you need another makeup artist to come along. Anything over 5 people, like I'm bringing somebody else. Like it's just not even a question, because I know for a fact, you're on a time constraint, and you're not gonna wake up a bride at 6 o'clock in the morning to have her done by 6 o'clock at night because you're only one person and you have to do 10 people in the party. That doesn't make any sense. So I usually split it out. When it comes to that time, I try to give the bride at least 2 hours. Why?
For the bride or for the 5 people that you're talking about?
So like for each person, I try to give them at least an hour. Now I may not take up the full hour.
Sure.
It's just to give enough leeway for me to prepare myself, for them to prepare themselves, for them to get everything that they need out of the way, because, you know, everyone's all over the place. And at the same time, you know, give myself room to perfect any little things or change anything that they may not like themselves. So that takes time. Believe it or not, it takes time. And sometimes, as much time as I may give myself ahead, I'm literally still putting the last lip gloss on the last person as they're about to walk down the aisle because they're running late, you know? So I'm usually over maybe like, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes for the most part, but I try to give myself enough time. The bride, I always try to give her at least 2 hours because she's the bride. I mean, she has to be perfect. And then sometimes I get hijacked by the hairstylist. And
we love you, hairstylists. Don't take that wrong.
No, I do love them, but it's an art to do makeup while they're doing hair at the same time. I have to say.
Sure.
I'll definitely have to say that. It is an art. Not everyone can do it while they're trying to put a hair in a bun and then they're pulling the hair back like that. It's an art. So yeah, I try to give the bride at least 2 hours.
Okay. So what I'm taking from this is, first, if you're planning to do hair and makeup before the wedding, which most people do, that you'll give yourself plenty of time. So if you have, let's say, 3 people and then the bride, so that's 5 hours, like you mentioned. That's a 5-hour time frame.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
And so if you're listening out there, don't add people. If she says it's going to be 5, like, oh, by the way, what about my mom? Like,
Yeah, no,
yeah, that's when hair and makeup becomes late, because then they weren't ready for it. And then it's just a surprise, and you're trying to slide it in last minute, and we can't do that.
that's happened to me before too.
I can imagine. I know. Like I said, I've been there. So.
Happened to me plenty of times, and I'm just like, because another thing too, I don't bring all of my makeup. Like I used to do that, and then I would have such a backache because I brought so much that I started to condense it specifically for the looks or for the people. So if I don't have that foundation for that person, I don't have it. I'm not gonna bring extra things that I don't need to slow me down in my process. Just because I think that maybe, no. I can do maybe 1 or 2 things, and I can maybe blend a thing or 2, but to do a whole new look on a person that I wasn't expecting to do, like, you're literally throwing me in with the wolves. Like, you're throwing me blind. It's not fair at all.
Yeah, agreed. So again,
And no amount of money can
make you go faster.
Yeah,
right? It's just not going to happen.
Honestly.
Yeah. So don't do that. Just be honest. If you're trying to sneak somebody in there, it's going to end badly. And that's the last thing you want, especially because the person you try to sneak in is typically mom, and you don't want mom to look busted,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
So we talked a little bit about the eyebrows and the tweezing and possibly waxing. That I know you don't do that, but my question is more geared towards, when should it be done? Like, you don't want to, I'm assuming you don't want to get waxed the morning of the wedding, right before you show up.
No, do it a week before. I would say, okay, and this is very important for anybody, any person or woman doing any event, especially your wedding. Do not try anything new a month. Like, if you're gonna try anything new, you got to do it a month before. Why? Because you don't want something to have an adverse reaction, and then on your day you have to, the makeup artist has to somehow fix it. We're not miracle workers. We can enhance, we can change, you can do a lot with makeup and change the person's face, but certain things we can't do. So don't try anything new. The week before, don't try anything new. Keep it to yourself, or keep it the same process that you've always been doing. I would say definitely waxing, anything like that, do it a week before, because like I said, you never know what kind of reaction you're going to have. It's a high stress time. So some people do break out. Some people can have an adverse reaction to maybe even a product. And so I would definitely say, like, getting your eyebrows done, any base waxing, if you want to do that, things like that, a week before, maybe 2. But I'll say a week because it still looks fresh when you're going to do your makeup by the end of the week. Okay. So about a week before. I've had people literally on their wedding day that they're like, I had a reaction to something, and like they're swollen. And so how am I supposed to make that not look swollen?
Right.
To make you look good while you're walking down the aisle. You're not going to even feel good about yourself, So yeah, it's no, don't do it.
Right.
You want your day perfect.
And as you were talking, I was thinking too, like when some people, when they get waxed, they turn red as well from the waxing. So if you do it the day before, like you said, you're going to bring what you need. And so you're bringing what you need for their skin. And you're like, oh man, I need that high power concealer. And you didn't need it a month ago, but now I need it. Right. So.
Right. Yeah. You want to try to make it the easiest for the makeup artist so that the process is easier for yourself and that you don't have to take so long. But they also prepared for a certain thing. That's why it's very important to have the trial, because they're preparing for that. You guys talked about it, it's approved, and this is what it's going to be.
So let's talk about, you mentioned like breaking out. So what happens, what do you suggest if you wake up in the morning and, oh my God, there's a big pimple? What do you suggest that they do?
Do not squeeze it.
I was going to say that. Really?
No, do not squeeze it. Why? Because the cool thing about makeup is that you're able to disguise it. So there is some shade and light things that, or spot conceal that I can do where I can hide it and it doesn't look so much, like it won't show as much. So don't pop it. But when the skin is raw, it can get patchy, it can get loose, versus, you know, a textured skin, you can get away with textured skin easier than you can get with like raw skin, or that could be bleeding. And then, you know, I use foundation liquid, and then I also use powder on top of that. So the powder is going to stick to that. You don't want your face to look, like it's peeling. So don't pop it. The makeup artist, if they know what they're doing, they're going to spot conceal it, and they're going to be able to cover it up in a way where it's not as noticeable.
Okay, got it. Well, there you go. So don't pop it. Don't pop it. Pop it. I would have popped it, but now I know not to. All right. All right. So I'm in a lot of different Facebook groups, and one thing I noticed, good or bad, we're not going to stop it, is that we have a lot of brides out there who are DIY, whether it's because they want to save money or they think they can do it better. And I've just succumbed to the fact that we're not going to change their mind. If they want to DIY, they're going to DIY. There's nothing we can do. I even actually wrote a blog about it, about doing your own makeup. So if a bride decides, I'm not going to hire any makeup artist and I'm going to do it myself, what advice would you give them besides don't do it? But besides that, what would you, like 2 quick tips to tell them if they're going to do their own hair and makeup, or I'm sorry, their own makeup on the wedding day?
Practice, practice, practice. Practice it a million times over and over. I mean, first, you know, decide the look that you want and practice that. Buy the products that you need. You know, keeping it back to, like I said, it's simple. Make it as simple as possible, where it can be a few products that you only need to create the look. So, because if not, it can be too much too quick, and then you're going to want to give up. So if you are dead set on this is what you want to do, find the look, buy the products, make sure that they're condensed as possible so that you feel comfortable doing it, and practice it to the end, so that one, you can look as beautiful as you want to look, and so that it would also, you know, it'll also show in the pictures as well, and you're going to feel great about yourself. But definitely practice it, because you don't want to try something new that you don't know what you're doing. And sometimes girls tend to want to do like a smoky and end up with like raccoon eyes. So practice, please practice.
All right, I'm writing raccoon eyes down. All right, so I guess because I don't wear makeup, my misconception is that bridal makeup, at least if you're going to do it yourself, is very similar to a night on the town. Like if you're going to have a you know, where you're going to get dolled up. And so is that not correct or no?
I mean, it depends. One, because every bride has their own look that they want to, but most importantly, or the feedback that you get the most is that they want to look natural. They want to look natural, not only because they feel, most of them are everyday women that don't wear a lot of makeup all the time. That's number one. But 2, their husband or their soon-to-be husband knows them a certain way, and you don't want to scare him off or feel like he's going to be marrying a stranger. So you just really want, I know, but it's true.
I know, that's why I'm laughing.
Like, if she comes with tons of makeup on, you're going to be like, whoa, what happened? Like, what are you doing? If you know that she's not that, and you fell in love with her, you know, you're not going to want her with tons of makeup. Most guys aren't even into that. If you hear most guys speak, they'll say they're not into that. So you want her to feel comfortable. You want him to feel comfortable. And you want it to be where it's almost like take your breath away. And that really does come from natural makeup. It comes from very like that innocence, very beautiful princess. And when you look at those princesses and things like that, they don't have tons of contour and all of these things. No, it's very subtle. It's very beautiful. It hits where it matters. And you will feel the most stunning that way. So natural makeup is actually more of the request than not.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, when we were talking, I was thinking like what you said, that you don't want to look different than what they know you as. And I was just thinking like if they had, I don't know, on Instagram or on TikTok, like first look fails.
Right,
The crew was like, what?
Exactly. Right. Exactly. So yeah, you don't want that, especially not on your wedding day. It's too special.
Yeah. So I think that is all the questions I have as far as the wedding goes. I have a couple more and then we'll get you out of here. I appreciate you taking the time to chat with me. So you had mentioned before kind of your weapons of choice. And I had a question that I was going to say, if you only could have 3 items in your makeup bag, what would they be? But you've already blown that out the water. So I'm going to give you one. If you only had 1 item that you can put in your makeup bag, what would that be?
Okay, and I've actually been asked this question, so I know the answer. It would be an eyeliner pencil. Why?
Yes, please.
Because eyeliner pencils can dub as a eyebrow pencil. It can be an eyeliner, and it can be a lip liner. And if you work it enough, it can be a lipstick. So you can put it all over your lip. And depending on the color that it is, it can even be, it can be a blush. You know, you can take a pencil and then, you know, rub it down enough so it can be a blush, or even you can put it on your eyes for shadow. So that one is the most versatile out of all of the, because that can be bare face, you know, at the end of the day, whatever, foundation, you don't really need foundation. You don't. It just adds to the look, or just gives you more of a
There's
blank.
the lady with the fabulous makeup on right now. Come on.
And it's so funny because all I have on is lipstick. So yeah, I mean, you have to know how to work, you know, certain things. But yeah, like, you know, you don't need foundation. You don't need all that extra stuff. But you're able to groom your eyebrows, able to add a little something to your eyes and something to your lips. That's really all you need.
Okay. I guess I'll have to work harder on my stumping questions. So what piece of technology can you not live without?
My phone, sadly to say. Because my phone is my life. It really is. I have everything on there. I have all my contacts. I work on my phone.
You have a makeup app on there, or 2 or 3?
Do I? No, I used to, but no, I don't have currently right now.
You used to. Why did you get rid of it?
Yeah, because I needed the space. And I don't go on there as much as often. But honestly, the biggest makeup tool that I have on here is my camera, because, you know, you want to take good pictures, and I assess my work that way. So yeah, my phone, it has my calendar, it has my calculator when I need it has my Cash App when I need it, Zelle for, you know, for those things, as well as I'm able to have access to my portfolio online. I'm able to schedule things, text, communicate. So yeah, my phone for sure.
Got it. All right. So since you're on your phone all the time, what is your go-to emoji?
The smiley face.
The smiley face. Okay. How many times do you smiley face in a day?
Oh, it can be a lot, actually. Well, no. Actually, no, it's the crying face, the crying, laughing face. Mm-hmm. Because my family, we're jokesters. So we tend to send funny things and sometimes inappropriate things, and we laugh a lot.
Okay. Can you show me what that crying, laughing face looks like?
Well, it's kind of like that, but with tears coming out.
All right. So what do you wish that I asked you that I did not?
In the sense of what? Like where someone can learn something from it, or just overall?
Just overall, what question that you're like, oh, if he asked this, I'd be happy, and I just failed you?
No, I mean, I think you hit a lot of the main questions that I feel are important to know. And even then, even if you didn't ask it, I told you so. I think, yeah, no, I feel like it was a good overall, you know, interview conversation that we had, that you know, I feel like somebody could have learned something, and as well as, you know, they were actually a lot more interesting. I thought they were more interesting than I expected, to be honest. I didn't expect those questions.
What are you trying to say? Like,
no, but just, you know, not everyone, you know, may understand the process or have, you know, the experience and things like that. So they wouldn't know what questions to kind of ask.
You're like, this dude don't know nothing about makeup, and he's gonna be asking me some questions. Come on.
No, I mean, I really wasn't expecting it. I really wasn't, but I'm actually very surprised, and I'm glad that you know more, because for someone who is in that industry, you're able to guide the bride a little bit more, or if they have any questions, you're able to kind of like, maybe answer them. So it's much better than having to be like, well, I don't know, So no, I feel like all the questions that were asked were very, very on point. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. And this is the point where you tell everybody how they can find you. So your website, your Instagram, or whatever, however you want people to find you. This is the point that I want you to do that.
Okay, so my Instagram is makeup by Maria _MUA. And on there, you'll be able to find a link to my my portfolio, my online portfolio, which is split on my beauty, and it has my bridal makeup as well. And my email address is makeupbymaria@gmail.com. And yeah, that's it. Those are the main ones.
Perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all of Maria's information down below. So that way you'll be able to get in contact with her in case you don't have to keep on rewinding and pausing and all that stuff. It'll be down below in the description. My name is Damon with Complete Weddings and Events. I want to thank everybody for checking out the Complete Wedding Podcast. A big thank you to Maria Rodriguez for coming out and hanging out with me for a few minutes talking about makeup and how it's going to help you with your wedding. You guys have a great day.